Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, December the 26th, 2022. Monday, December the 26th, 2022. Well, we have another one of these kind of feel goody-ish episodes. We have Elena and Nate coming from a nice walk, from walking around in the snow, and Abby, as they're getting ready to go into their penthouse, Abby is coming in the elevator with baby Dom to go visit Dominic. So they're talking and they're like, hey, Chance, is he going to be joining you? And so Abby says, oh, you guys haven't heard Chance and I are getting a divorce. And they're like, oh, sorry to hear that. And she's like, yeah. And so um, something else was said, small talkish. And then Devon opens his door. He goes, I thought I heard you all out here. Come on in. So he's calling Abby and Dom in. And Nate is thinking like, what is that? Nate, So he comes in, he's sitting down. I guess Elena makes some hot chocolate or whatever, hot toddy, whatever drink she's making. And he's just in deep thought at the fireplace, sitting there like, what's up in Devon's world? And so she goes, Nate, and she has his drink, Nate. And he's not even hearing her. So she goes, Nate. And he goes, oh. And she hands him his drink and she goes, where were you? You were like lost in space, right? She didn't say that, but she's like, you were deep in thought. And he goes, yeah, I was just thinking about Elena and Chance, how, sad that is. And she goes, yeah, that is, a bit sad. You just, wow, you never know. I thought they were solid or whatever she says. And he goes, yeah. And so he goes, I wonder, does it all have to do with, Devon suddenly breaking up with Amanda? And Elena's like, yeah, her moving back to Virginia was sudden, permanently. And he goes, yeah, I'm wondering, do you think, and he turns towards her, do you think there's some kind of connection? And she's like, well, I don't know. And honestly, he's kind of like, well, what's your opinion? What do you have to say? She goes, what I have to say is it's none of my business. And frankly, Nate, it's none of your business either. And he's like, but something had to really have happened. And he's just getting ready to like dive his teeth into it. And she says, Nate, honey, I need you to stop and not even dwell on this. And he's like, no, I'm just itchy. She goes, no, it's a little more than that. And so he's like, because, I questioned Devon about Amanda going back to Virginia, and he abruptly shut me down cold, you know. And so she almost like as if he has something to hide. And she says, no, Nate, you and Devon are absolutely not on the best of terms at all. And I'm sure the way you brought it up to him, you were not on your best tactical self, best tactics involved, right? And he goes, yeah, you're probably right. But Devon is so quick. He is so quick to condemning me for what I did to the family. Oh, he could do no wrong. He's just holier than that. And she's like, no, Nate, no. This has nothing to do with you. And Devon would not confide in you with your relationship the way it is right now, and rightfully so. And so she says, I see, you get fixated on this need for, she goes, I don't know, need for revenge. And you go, no, I'm just kidding. She goes, okay, but listen, it's not your place to be that curious. And she goes, and for you to let it like consume you. Soon as you heard one little thing from Abby, you are just so consumed in that. Don't let that take up your headspace. And so he's just kind of listening to her, but not really. He's listening to her with his ears, but trust me, in his brain, he's thinking, how can I get this information out? How can I find out? Because soon as he finds out, he wants to throw it up in Devon's face. And I wouldn't put it past Nate to use his media platform to exploit the information. And see, Newman Media is not tabloid. So there is nothing with what happened between Devon and guess what? Abby is a Newman. Victor Newman better not ever hear nothing come out about his daughter. So Nate needs to leave it alone. So Devon and Abby are talking in the inside, and she's saying, oh, it's family. This is Christmas. Family should get together. And Elena was saying the same thing. You all need to bury the hatchet, your family, especially on days like today, right? So Abby is working on Devon, and she goes, what would Neil want? What would, going on and on and on. And Devon is like, look, Nate is fishing for information that's none of his business for whatever reasons he wants to use the information for. And so first I thought, yeah, but when Elena moved out and moved into the hotel, you sure question Nate about it. But the only difference I say in that was Elena was clearly distraught, clearly wanting to talk. She and Devon are kind of close, and she almost completely opened up to him at the table, right? And she was saying, Nate, he's completely unrecognizable. I don't recognize this man anymore. So Elena was telling Devon some things that would make Devon say, like, man, what's happening here? And this is when Nate was supposedly back at Chancellor Winters trying to make a go of it, right? And so Nate was just saying, no, Elena and I are just taking a break and we're going to get past it, right? So he left it at that, and Devon pretty much left it at that. It's like, well, whatever. But Nate can't leave anything at that, right? So Abby texts Elena, and they, come, she's got this plan. Are you guys available for drinks? What do you think Nate would say? So she's like, well, she could try, So guess what? The next scene is they're over to Devon's house, having some wine. It's tensed, but Abby's there. Because one of the things Nate was saying, it's Christmas Day. Why is Abby at Devon's house on Christmas Day? And Elena's like, it looked to me like she's bringing Devon's son over to Devon on Christmas Day. Nate, don't try to read into things. Even though, look, there was a lot to really read into, right? But Nate didn't know that. He was just trying to say, ooh, there's something in it. She's over here on Christmas Day, where that's just a pit stop. Abby's going to be out of there and at the Newman house. That's the next stop for everybody, right? So they have small talk, and what breaks the ice is Abby shows a picture of Dominic with trying to get a picture with him and Santa Claus, and Dominic wasn't having it, and he's crying. And Nate says, that reminds me of when my mom and Drew were little, and Aunt Mamie insisted on dressing them alike for Christmas presents, and they hated it as little girls because their tastes couldn't be more opposite each other. So their faces were always looking toward up, right? And Devon said, yeah, Drew would tell me X, Y, and Z, about it. And so he and Nate were talking about that, and that was a good memory for them. So they shared a good memory. They could be civil. That's what they proved. They could be civil for that period. And see, they have family history. So that's pretty much where we left off with that. And then we had, okay, so it's Christmas Day, right? Kyle and Summer still aren't back with Harrison. Now, they were supposed to be Christmas Eve with Diane. Yes, Harrison opened up his presents Christmas morning, but then they hit the road to get back to Genoa City. Oh, they still there. It's pretty much all day. And Diane's eating it up. See, nobody's considering Jack. Jack is there all alone without his family, but Dee Dee gets everything, right? And I'm thinking, okay, Summer, goodness, you told Daniel tomorrow you were gonna spend some quality time with him and your mother. You guys are stuck in the cabin with Diane. Everything's about her. She's eating it up. So Kyle goes out with Harrison to put finishing touches on a snowman, and Summer talks to Diane. And Summer lets Diane know, bottom line, I'm putting you on notice. Don't ever try to come between me and Kyle, trying to make Kyle choose between his mother and his wife. And Diane's looking like, you putting me on notice, like, huh? And she goes, you told Kyle that you helped the feds put Jeremy Stark in jail. And she goes, he told you that? And she goes, yes, he told me that a while ago, as he should. I'm his wife, Diane. I said, and for the fact that you asked him not to, that's where I got a problem. That's where I have a problem. Because protecting my family is key. And so Diane says, well, you can't blame me. I mean, like, look at who your mother is. So Summer's like, yeah, look at who my mother is. And I love my mother, okay? And something to the effects, and I will not disown my mother. She says, now, my mother was out of bounds, completely operating out of bounds, and I don't agree. Well, I'm glad at least you acknowledging that, Diane says. She goes, yeah, I'm acknowledging that. So I would never tell my mother personal information, private information that my husband shares with me, because he and I are a team. Summer should have taken the opportunity, but let's not forget, Diane, you have told lie after lie after lie since you've been here. So you and my mother, in my opinion, are both on notice. See, she should have threw what Diane, this whole thing was really such, this is from Diane's mess, her mess. And trust me, Jeremy not taking the money, Diane is worth more to him than that money. She has something more valuable of his that she's ever letting on, and it's gonna come out, okay? So Jack calls Kyle because Tracy is like, well, I would have thought, Jack, they would have been back by now from their search for Santa Claus, you know? And Ashley's sitting there because Ashley and Tracy were talking. And then Jack comes and he's kind of, snipey on Ashley because Tracy says, oh, I thought they would be home now. Yeah, it's a shame that they felt they had to leave. And he was aiming darts at Ashley. And Ashley's looking at him like, don't mean nothing to me, Jack. Nothing, right? And so Tracy's kind of like, wait, look, let's not start that today. Tracy's always the peacemaker, the mediator, right? So the doorbell rings and Ashley goes to the door and she opens up the door and we get Tucker with his little hat, Christmas hat on and his Santa Claus gift bag. The look on his face, Trevor St. John, sometimes he just makes you smile because he didn't care how goofy he looked. He didn't care how unwanted he may have been. He didn't care. And he was just as bringing in the cheer. Even, I think that the actress that plays Ashley, I think she has a lot of fun working with him because she's smiling and she's kind of chuckling because he's funny and it's kind of contagious, like almost like a happy-go-lucky to be such a viper. Now, the other actor that played Tucker, all of this wouldn't have happened. It's just not in his demeanor at all. But Trevor is putting his own spin on Tucker, and I'm loving it. So he walks in, Ashley's like, don't you think you're a bit over the top? He goes, nope. And he walks over to the couch. He goes, boom, just slings his little bag on the couch big bag on the couch next to Tracy, and Jack is like, you know how he gets, you know, and Tucker's like, sorry for intruding, but I bought gifts for everybody, for all of you. So Jack's like, yeah, it's a shame there's not a gift for you under our Christmas tree. And Tucker's like, that's okay, because I'm really embracing the spirit of giving, not receiving, the spirit of giving. And Tracy's like, well, if you were here to give a gift to Dominic, um, Abby's already left with him. He goes, no, 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 I'm getting ready. I'm going to go see them later. Mm-mm, I'm here. So he goes, here, Tracy. And he just gives her gift. And she's like, oh, well, thank you, Tucker. you know? And so he looked at Ashley. He goes, look, I don't have anything to do till later. I was hoping I could get you to go out to lunch with me. And she goes, why, I would love to, Tucker. She's like, because I want to get out of this house from you, Jackie, right? Because she knows Jack can't stand it. And I'm like, Jack, you better not say not a doggone thing. You didn't care what anybody felt about Diane, Ashley, or anybody. You throwing her up in everybody's face. I'm keeping her close. I'm keeping a close eye. Well, Ashley's keeping a close eye on Tucker, right? So they leave, they go to society, not realizing it's closed, but Ashley has a key. So they go in, and I'm thinking, you must also have the alarm code too, because I know there's an alarm on society. But when they go in, I'm thinking, well, turn around and lock the door, folks. They just go right on in after she unlocks it. The door just slowly closes on its own. And I'm like, oh my goodness, lock the door. The restaurant's closed. You don't want other people just sauntering in, said, hello, are you open? Even though all the lights are off, are you open in here? So they go into the kitchen, and she goes, I'm sure it'll be okay, because as long as we clean up our mess. So they're making salad. Now, Tucker is cutting these carrots. And I'm thinking, boy, those are some big chunks of carrot for a salad. Wow, wouldn't you kind of use a grater and grade you up some carrots? He's just cutting up these carrots. And Ashley's making homemade salad dressing. And so, the chemist in her, she got, oh, no, it needs something. It needs, oh, no. Then she got it, and she gave Tucker a taste. And he's like, oh my God, that's going to bring out the effervescence in the salad. Oh my. And she's just like laughing at him, like, oh yeah, you're Mr. Culinary. But what I was looking at is, I was like, look at them thick old carrots in that salad. How's that going to work? But yet, you see this plate up here on top? The scene of them at the table eating or finishing up their salads, which they didn't eat very much of it, right? I'm looking at everything in those salads. Where the heck were those big old carrots he was cutting? Not a one was in that salad. He did all that cutting. I saw bell peppers, the yellow, the orange. I saw the salad, some tomatoes. Well, if there even was tomatoes, for sure there were red, multicolored bell peppers, orange, yellow, and red in the salad. I didn't see too much anything else. But my whole thing was, yeah, I think there's some cherry tomatoes on that table. So there's some cut up cherry tomatoes in there. Not a carrot in sight. That was just for the scene. Like he pretended to cut something. He should have cut those bell peppers, because at least they were in the salad. That was just one funny little detail that I picked up on that was hilarious to me. So they eat, they talk. He's still trying to convince her to work together with him. And she's just like, look, he says, I got a business plan I want to show you. And she's like, well, nah, you're still not going to be able to woo me, but you've put in a lot of work, haven't you, Tucker? And so he goes, but wouldn't you take a look at the business plan? She goes, sure, I'll look at it just to see what you got cooking, right? So he walks her back to the Abbott house. And outside, he's thanked her for lunch. And they're looking at each other. She actually pulls him in to kiss her, and his eyes are all closed, like, oh my goodness, I'm kissing Ashley, I'm kissing Ashley, I'm kissing. And Ashley, as he's coming closer, as she's pulling him closer, she's just looking at him. And I'm thinking, she's playing you. But she's looking at him like, I got you. So she closes her eyes finally when he's like right up on her. She puts a nice little puckered kiss on him. And he goes, okay, I'll see you later, Ashley. Oh, he was so happy. She goes, bye, Tucker. And she walks into the house, and she's like, oh, I guess you saw what happened out there, didn't you? Shit. Right. Look, how many times I got to walk in on you and Diane looking way too cozy. So anyway, he goes, you have the audacity or whatever he said to her about Tucker. She goes, you know what, Jackie, when is it that you're gonna finally trust me? And she doesn't say nothing else, like, please, you know. So Diane back at the cabin, oh, Diane is like, you know what, I am not letting, because she heard Jack, the end of the conversation where Jack was telling Kyle that he didn't think Stark was going to take the money and leave. And I'm thinking Stark already has $500,000 of your money in that hotel room. So what you talking about, Jack? So she's like, oh, he goes, Mom, so you won't be coming home. I'm so sorry. It's going to take us longer. And so she's like, you know what? I am not going to let Jeremy Stark run me out of town. Now, mind you, everybody, she was so scared of Jeremy. She's so scared, right? And so Kyle is like, well, Mom, you get Stark is there. She goes, nope. There are other ways of dealing with Stark, and I have an idea. And Summer's just looking at her, and Kyle is kind of like, what idea, Mom? What? You know, and Summer's kind of like, you got an idea, huh? That's interesting. Summer's going to actually be pissed to know that Kyle did keep from her the fact that Diane had Stark's money and spent it, because nobody's told Summer that. Kyle knows, right? She hadn't told Summer that. She's going to be livid when she finds out about that. So we have Chance and Sharon. That was really kind of cute. They spent the day together. They cleaned up the coffee house, you know, and they just talked. And he was kind of like, well, you know what? I'm kind of all talked out. And she says, no, you know what? I'm happy to have you here because I would like to talk. So she just talked about, you know, how she felt, that she never thought a year ago, because that was Ray and her first Christmas as a couple. She didn't know that that was going to be their last as a married couple. And so she was just talking to him, you know, open, honestly, or, you know, wholeheartedly. And he's listening to her. I already see they're going to put those two together. You know, they're spending way too much time together. So at least he was there for her, because everybody is gone. Faith is gone. Noah's doing his thing. His club was opening up tonight. You know, Mariah and Tessa are doing their thing. Sharon is, you know, all on her own, because realistically, Sharon is tolerated by the Newmans when the whole family is there. Like if Faith were there, Sharon could have come along. But just as a Newman family dinner, Sharon really is not on the invite list, right? So I'm happy that Chance was there to spend some time with her. So that pretty much was about it for the Young and the Restless. Let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner, let's see what comments we have going on at Comment Corner. We have Shakira says, the wasn't great, and I don't understand what that comment is. Shakira, you may want to repost that, clean that up. Annette says, Sally, you have a lawsuit on old Victoria letting the hanky-panky in the office. The Newmans have a M.O. moolah. Oh, the Newmans have moolah. And then we have Annette saying, I'm waiting for Tessa to ask Devon for a baby. Maybe the girl in the dreams is the mother they will be meeting. Yeah, I think the girl in the dreams is probably going to be the mother, because they're only going to let them have so much disappointment. You know, they're not going to let them be disappointed for too long. You know, it's just not going to happen. And then we have Annette says, look, Noah will be the one, because that means the baby would be biologically attached to Mariah, because it would be her little niece or nephew. But anyway, Annette says, enough of the baby woes on Who's the Daddy games. Yeah, that's getting ready to start with Sally. This will put Chelsea back on the roof. I don't think so. I don't think her hearing about Adam fathering another child, that's not going to affect Chelsea at all. And then Dito says, daily recap, lady. This is the first chance I've had to get back with you. Months ago, Libby predicted that there would be a Who's Your Daddy storyline between Nick, Adam, and Sally. If you paid really close attention on Thursday's show, where Sally couldn't stand the taste of her coffee, you know what? I missed that. I didn't catch that on with what Sally said. Then you'd have got the storyline and Libby given the correct prediction, LOL. I hope you have a really nice holiday. I had a relaxing one. I hope everyone else had a really happy and safe holiday as well. Thank you for keeping us for keeping us for keeping must be for keep giving us these channel updates, because I really enjoy this channel. And for those of you who are new, subscribe. Thank you, Ditos, because guess who can never remember to say subscribe to this YouTube channel? And she says, Merry Christmas, LOL. And Libby says, I guess if we keep guessing often enough, we'll score one or two speculations too about Abby getting pregnant by Devon. Yes, I really honestly believe that is what's next. That's going to happen. Abby is going to be pregnant. And I don't think it'll be she sleeps with, because see, she would have slept with Chance already if there was a possibility that Chance could have been the father. So there'll have to be some kind of slip up between her and Chance if for that to happen. But I do see Abby being pregnant again by Devon, and this time, you know, she's going to be able to carry that baby to term. So that's Comment Corner. Thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.